This wall almost stayed like this. Plain, fine, totally okay. But I decided it deserved more. So I added one simple, beginner-friendly detail that made the whole space feel custom. And the crazy part, this project was way easier than expected. So if you've been wanting that high-end wall paneling look without a massive renovation, I'm gonna show you exactly how I installed these MDF tongue and groove panels step by step. Hey, it's Robyn, and I help women rebuild their homes and themselves one DIY project at a time. Today, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how to do this wall paneling so you can do it in your own space. Let's go. Okay, let's do this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do we have measurements here? Kind of? Kind of is not a measurement. Okay, well, to be fair, I have a plan and my confidence is high. As much as I wish DIY was just confidence and power tools, good planning is what actually makes your projects look custom. So the goal with this wall was to add some storage, which is what we have done with this IKEA floating unit, as well as adding some texture and dimension without making the room feel too busy, because we have a lot going on the other side of the room behind the camera. So I've decided on this 6-inch wide shiplap paneling with these vertical lines in it. Installing these above and below the floating vanity will add some visual depth and dimension and just make the wall feel more intentional. And instead of changing the color completely, I decided to paint these panels the same as our wall color, but in a slightly shinier finish. That subtle contrast in the sheen is what will give this a soft, custom look without it screaming for attention, because the floating vanity is going to be screaming for attention when it's finished. Okay, let's go over the materials you'll need for this project. You will need some kind of wall paneling, construction adhesive, paintable caulking, wood filler that's paintable as well, brad nails, as well as paint and any painting supplies. And that's it for materials. For tools, you'll need either a miter saw or a circular saw. You could also buy like a handsaw with a miter box if this is a very first project you're doing and you don't want to invest a lot of money. And then you will need a nail gun with finishing nails. You'll also need a drill with a drill bit that is wide enough to fit your jigsaw and jigsaw blade. You can also use a multi-tool to replace these two items. If you prefer, you will need a tape measure, a carpenter's square, a level or a laser level. You might want to use a straight edge, but honestly, I just used my finger to put the wood filler in the holes, and then you will need all your PPE, hearing protection, dust mask, safety glasses. Oh, and you might want a rubber mallet to just tap those boards in if needed. That's it, that's all, that's what you need. Let's get to it. I will put a photo up here of the exact product I used, but when you buy this product, this description sheet has a QR code on it. If you scan the QR code, it is going to give you the exact materials list, tools, steps of installation. Everything you need to know is right here. And we are just gonna take these two things and throw them away because I am gonna show you exactly how to do it. They might add a step or two that's not listed on there because I am particular. I just like it done a certain way, okay? First, we gotta find center. See how there's like an inch between each of these reeds? I want to make sure that I have the same spacing here and here. I don't want to end up with like one reed right against the wall and then not one here. I mean, it doesn't always work out perfect, but we're gonna do the best we can, because if I hang a piece of artwork on this wall, we got these vertical lines going down and I center that artwork, it could look funky if it's not pre-planned. So we're gonna do that first. We're gonna start on the right, and then we're gonna move across the way to this side of the wall. Now I'm gonna rip this first piece down to 5.5 so that when I end right here at the door, this piece is also 5.5. Okay, with the breaker off, we're going to remove our switch plates because the wall paneling will be going in behind our switch plates. So nice of somebody to paint over this. That was me. One down, one to go. The other one is under the cabinet. Now that our outlet covers are removed and we've measured the layout of our panels, we are going to find our studs. And yes, I am still using this stud finder. If you've watched my tool bag video, you know what I'm talking about. We're gonna mark out the studs, and I'm not gonna mark them on the wall because we're putting paneling over. So what I'm gonna do is use this to find them, and then I'm gonna put tape on the vanity to align with these studs. Okay, now our studs are marked and we are ready to start cutting. So one thing I will recommend is painting your panels ahead of time. That's the way I prefer to do it. So I have gone ahead and given the panels 2 coats of paint. They will need touch-ups once they're on the wall because I'll have to fill nail holes and then paint over that filler. It's just personal preference. If you wanna put them up on the wall and paint after, that is totally your choice. I prefer to paint ahead of time and then put them up on the wall. So of all the boards, that first board, or the first board, is the most important. So you want to make sure you have the tongue facing the right way. I haven't cut it down to width yet. I'm going to cut it to length first and then see how plumb that wall is, because the 1/2 inch that we're knocking off will be cut from the side on the wall so that we keep the tongue. So I don't want to cut that yet until I know if I need to scribe this side to the wall. So first board is by far the most important. And you can bet your bottom that I'm going to check and make sure my saw is square after that vanity build, and it looks good. Okay, so the first piece is cut to length. I have it in here, and it actually looks fairly good. There is like a little bit of a bow to this wall. It goes in a little bit, but I think if I just rip 1/2 inch off like we talked about, it'll be good. Check it with my laser level to make sure that it's level. It is! I also brought this level in. If you don't have a laser level, you can just use a 4-foot level or whatever size level works for the area you're working with. Okay, now that we've made our cuts on the first piece, it is time to install it onto our wall. We're gonna do that using some construction adhesive. I'm using PL Premium and brad nailer with nails. Oh, future Robyn's gonna have so much fun when she wants to redo this bedroom, because there's construction adhesive on this and construction adhesive on the slats, and that means I'm gonna have to learn how to drywall. Once we got our construction adhesive on, it's just time to stick her on the wall. Get it right in there. Brought my mallet just in case. Okay, looks good. Okay, I'm gonna throw 1 nail, and then I'm gonna nail 1 on the face, which is what I just did, and then I'm gonna nail 1 into the groove here so that it doesn't have to be covered, basically. Okay, now that the top board's up, we're gonna do the same on the bottom. Just want to make sure I'm aligned on the top and the bottom so that it looks like the paneling is going in behind this and all the lines seamless above and below. Okay, once your first piece is up, your second piece is gonna go over, and you're gonna put this side over top and keep this side flat to the wall. If our first one was level, like it was, then everyone thereafter should be bang on. Okay, so I have you in nice and tight when I put up this third board so you can kind of see how it overlaps. I'm gonna put it up at ceiling height first. And then I'm just gonna slide it over to close that gap. Did you see that there? So here, and then the gap's closed. And then we're gonna nail it in. We have a stud to work with on this one.
Quick pause. If you're planning a wall paneling project, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what room you're tackling. I read every single comment, and I love to hear what you're working on. We continue working panel by panel, cutting to length, applying adhesive, and nailing it to the wall over and over until...
So now that I am at the switch, I have to cut this out of the panel. I'm gonna measure from here over, not from the tongue, from here, and I'm gonna note this side, which is 1 inch, and this side, which is 3 1/8. And then I'm gonna measure from the cabinet up and make sure I'm going beneath the screws into the junction box. So we have 18 and 21 3/4. Then you wanna take your panel. What I have done is I've flipped it around and I'm measuring from this side because when we turn it, that's the side that's gonna be against. So I measured 1 inch in and 3 inches over and 18 inches up from the bottom, 21 3/4 up from the bottom. Then I'm gonna take it out to the shop and mark it off with my square. So I have my carpenter's square and I'm working on the back. I'm just gonna mark these lines off. Okay, there we have it. So that is what I'm getting rid of. Now there's many different ways to cut this out. You can use a multi-tool, but my multi-tool is buried over there. So I'm actually just gonna drill bit out the corners and use my jigsaw because my jigsaw is accessible. Okay, so before I put any construction adhesive on, I wanna test fit and then I'll put adhesive on. We had some tear out on the front side, which is unfortunate. I don't think the switch cover will cover that far down, but now I'm gonna take it off and put the adhesive on and nail it in. Last one. Okay, let's take a look where we're at. Look at that, it's completely changed this area already. Real talk, we still have to put this up and I made a mistake. I pushed it a little too hard and I mismeasured and made a wrong cut. Typically, I would recut this piece. However, that was my last full length piece. So mistakes happen. That is part of DIY. We are going to come up with a solution. We'll go look through my leftover stash and then carry on this way. Like I said, mistakes are part of DIY. They happen, you find a solution and move on. Okay, so we need a piece that is 1 15/16 long. We'll get this piece in and then we'll continue our way across and then it will be done. Ooh, now it's time to finish. Now that all our panels are installed, we are going to finish the boards. So first I'm gonna wipe it down with a wet microfiber cloth and then I'll go in with a dry microfiber cloth. Once it's all wiped down, I'm gonna fill every single nail hole with DAP Dry Decks. Once all the nail holes are filled, I'm gonna caulk all the seams in between the panels as well as where the panels meet the walls on each side. Then once our filler and our caulking is dried, we're gonna come in and sand down the filler and touch all those up with paint. Then we can start putting our outlet covers back on and it will be all wrapped up. Okay, so all the nail holes are filled and our seams are caulked and it is ready for that last coat of paint. But I've been thinking about these outlet covers ever since I took them off. So I put the screws back in here into the junction box. And when I put this plate over, the cover plate over top, you can see that it doesn't line up right here at the front. And as well, there is a gap in between here. So I think what I'm gonna test on the outlet underneath the cabinet is cutting these vertical curved pieces off so that this can sit flush against it. And then if it works, we'll pull it up onto this one. Fingers crossed it works. Okay, I did some touch-ups and it fits, and we're good.
Now that our outlet cover solution is fixed, we can paint. So I know I pre-painted the boards, but I didn't plan to caulk every single panel seam. So I am going to give it another full coat of paint across every panel, make sure those seams are covered and all the nail holes are covered. I still would recommend pre-painting your panels, especially if you're working in an area like this, because this was a tight situation. And now, here is the reveal.
I knew this wall would add dimension, but honestly, I didn't realize how much it would elevate this side of the room. If you've been thinking about a project like this one and talking yourself out of it, trust me when I say this is the one. The tools are basic, the materials are forgiving, and the results look way more expensive than it actually is. Remember, you don't need to be an expert, you just need to start. Start rebuilding and build your home and your confidence one DIY at a time. If this video helped you, hit that like button. It will genuinely help my tutorials reach more people. And if you don't want to miss the full bedroom reveal, hit subscribe because it's coming in a couple weeks. I love to know what projects you're working on, so drop that in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy rebuilding.